in my opinion, the greatest thing about Anchor is that you don't need a big budget. You don't need fancy equipment. Anchor gives you all the tools that allow you to record, edit, and produce a top quality podcast right from your phone or your computer. When we started out, we literally recorded to our phone for the first 50 episodes, and we never had a problem with it. We always felt like we got great quality, a great service, and it was easy to understand and easy to use. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, using Anchor, it is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, it's said that outer space only exists because it's afraid to be on the same planet as him. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, get back space, get back, I'll sort you out. Chicken and nuts.
Yeah, he's frightening a lot of people off, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I'm a nice fella.
He's a lovely fella. Well, welcome back. New listeners and, of course, repeat offenders. And thank you for joining us. And welcome back for another,
another great week.
Preoccupying episode of the show. We've had a good week. We've had a lot of new subscribers this week. So thank you for all you new listeners who have joined us. This week, we're going to be keeping up with the UFO and alien topics. We're going to be talking about Sg Clifford Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Clifford claims during his service in the US military, he identified over 57 species of extraterrestrial who he says were living or at least visiting planet Earth.
Yeah.
So Cliff even says he's had an encounter. We'll be going into it a little bit later on and exploring his claims. That's coming up shortly in the show.
Oh, yeah.
As well as a lot more besides. So I'm sure you'll agree that's 52% more than anyone expected or even deserves.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Spot on.
Yeah.
Well, been an interesting week. What have you been up to, Mr. Taylor?
Me just researching. I did my final test today for me SIA.
Oh, right, brilliant. So how did you think you got on?
Yeah, I think I must pass it this time. Yeah, because it's been a pain in the ass just for this last.
We had to do some Inception shit on his trainer and be like, Taylor must pass.
Yeah. I reckon I have this time because actually it was. There wasn't that much more pressure on me, so it was like I did it in the time limit without we've even been told that forget about the time, you know what I mean? But did it within the time limit, and I reckon I
dues, man.
I'm right,
Yeah, I reckon you did all right.
Get out there, man. Yeah.
Get out there busting some skulls and arresting folk.
Yeah, What about yourself? What have you been up to?
Personally, I'm having dramas at the moment with my bloody headphones really annoying me and farting in my ear. If any, what brand have you got? KS.
KS, mate, yeah.
If KS want to send us some absolute belting headphones, that would be amazing. Or any other headphone designers or stockists.
Yeah.
We'll rep you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because mine are farting and they're no good.
Yeah, we could always use a little bit more equipment to...
Any offers there. Red Wall Radio... We're on
great
Red Wall Radio. If you've not checked them out, they're an online radio station. And we appear every week.
Yeah, we do.
If you ever want to catch up with the show, we are on there from around about 8, 9 o'clock on Thursday evenings and occasionally on Sundays as well.
Might be another time as well.
They've got plenty of really good musical selection.
Oh, yeah.
Also, quite a few good hosts and talk shows. So if you want to go over and check Red Wall Radio out,
get a bit of a mix up.
Give them a Google. I'll check the link in the description. Really cool. And we're there. So what more do you want?
Yeah.
One of our fans, actually, Harriet, say fans, listeners.
Yes.
Harriet's brilliant, also known as AKA Woolly Ninja.
Oh, yeah, the Woolly Ninja.
Harriet, we've got to say big props to Harriet because she's also our champion for what was the game? We had a segment, didn't we?
What's up? Not what's.
No, that's what fucked up where you're from.
Well, what was it? Yes, you did.
It was what was it? Chain Connections.
That's it.
Yeah,
Chain
Connections might make a return at some point.
Yeah.
But Harriet was our champion at Chain Connections.
Leading champion.
And she's sent us some bits and pieces, some Christmas woolly stuff. Being the woolly ninja she is.
Again, this is our second lot from her.
Yeah, she's sent us stuff before, but she surpasses herself every time. She sent us some Christmas ornaments.
Oh yeah, mint, man.
And if you can check her out, she's on Facebook at Crafty Christabel. Or Christabel Crafts.
Yes.
All handmade stuff.
Yeah.
I rate her. I think she's really good at what she does. I keep telling her she should go out and do Christmas markets and stuff like that. Yeah, I think she should, Or like craft markets.
Yeah.
Check out her Facebook page. She sent us a couple of Christmas decorations that are definitely going to be going on the tree.
Definitely.
At some point.
Yeah, with the other lot.
And she basically sent us a UFO. Made out a knitted UFO and some aliens and stuff last time, and now she sent us a wreath and a Rudolph this year for Christmas.
Absolutely
so
brilliant.
Thank you so much. And like I say, go over and check out
definitely
Crafty Christabel on Facebook, or Christabel Crafts.
Yes.
And get something from her because she's awesome.
Yeah, if you can get some offer,
She did this thing, I've seen it on Facebook, where she did a load of barnyard animals, but she'd literally like just knitted every single animal, like in a zoo, a menagerie.
She's such an
artist.
It
was such a woolen artist. It's so cool. I love it.
Definitely. And I'd also like to say a thank you to Yvonne. She gave me a very nice donut. It was long.
Well, in Yvonne for giving Taylor a donut. Where's my donut?
She's a big fan as well.
Where's my donut?
Well, you weren't there, mate. You know what I mean? So
I want one next
you
time.
weren't there. Oh, well, I can ask her.
All right, fair to play. I also went to see the Ghostbusters.
You did
this
week.
Well, you've seen the Ghostbusters as well, but who the fuck are you gonna call? Because that was the most heartwarming movie I've seen in a long while, and at the pictures as well. So it was like, I was literally the only person in the cinema.
I bet you were. Did you wear a mask?
No, I walked in, nobody even asked me. You know what I mean? I just went and bought my ticket, and it was just like every other cinema experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
Sat
there on your own, looking
sat there in a cinema on my own, watching a cinema, watching a film.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, really, it was different, but fit the story and the overall kind of feeling of the first two. It was special, I think. It was, it did something that kind of, in the genre of films it is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it because it's one of those films really I don't want to give a review too soon because I know there's a lot of people who've not seen it.
I'll tell you what you can give a review for, though.
Go on.
The cinemas, because since they've been closed and they've had so many issues, did you see any new changes or any new experiences?
No, like I say, I felt like it was the same old experience I've always had going to the cinema. It was, cinemas were a bit kind of cleaner, and it was just the same. It was nice. It was just like, felt it was quite exciting being sat in the cinema watching a film on a big screen and being a new release and everything. So it was good. I'm sure lots of people have been to the cinema since this has all been starting to. But again. I felt like this is such a big movie that I should be going to see it because who knows, we could be all locked down again in a couple of weeks and the cinema's closed.
Well, the way the rest of the world's going, I think we will.
I know, yeah. Well, there's been a couple of things if you just want to stay at home, and there's a couple of things that you can watch over on Disney Plus. Hawkeye, which is a new series that's just started over on Disney Plus, which I thought was really quite good. It was kind of reminiscent of like good Christmas movies where. That you don't expect, so like Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Yeah, it's full of action and guns firing and stuff, but it's essentially a Christmas movie. This is how that feels. It's only been 2 episodes, so I'm gonna keep a track on it. But I think it's only a 6-episode series.
All right, okay. Because I thought it was going to be a film. Because I'm finding that these new series are like film quality. You know what I mean?
They definitely are.
Really brilliant film quality, which puts films behind if you think about it. Because why do a film now when you can do a series and do?
Well, I think a series.
Continue?
I think a series is, you're getting more for your money because obviously, like a film's usually 2 hours long, whereas you can get a lot more content and storytelling done over a series and an episodic.
That's true, but the budget must be like roughly the same. From the quality of it.
Well, it's the actors that they're using as well. I mean, they're using the full Avengers cast in a lot of it, and especially in the Marvel series and. I don't know if they just see it as a kind of a continuation or another avenue to... Because, I mean, at the end of the day, when they own the franchise of Marvel and Star Wars and all the rest of it, and they've got a platform they can produce stuff for, then it just kind of keeps the subscriptions coming in.
Keeps the monopolization in.
So regardless of, you've got the fact that you can, it's a reason for people to sign up to Disney Plus, because you've got these big, series, big blockbusting series that no one else has got. Then
that's going to ruin films. I think
that's enough to kind of draw people in. But
films are going to have to bring something else to the stage.
The films are going to have to up their game because the TV is just up there with it. So
he tried it with 3D, didn't he? And that didn't work out. So they're going to have to. Well, something big.
One thing I did see on Disney Plus this week, which it's been really good actually, and a bit of an eye opener into kind of like the personal lives of the Beatles. Get Back, which is a documentary series. Directed by Peter Jackson. He's kind of cut together with hours and hours of documentary footage, the weeks up until the breakup of the Beatles.
So you find out what's
the
been
catalyst and the arguments and the kind of the frictions that were there. And up until this point, they spent 2 years not touring. They'd not done any live performances, and they'd spent a lot of time just working.
Trying to get the next one out.
Because it was all like the birth of the 8-track recording and stuff, and they were pioneering a lot of recording stuff. They were able to kind of just record their bits at home, so there wasn't very much interaction, as a band. So this was the first time they'd come back into the studio and tried to write songs as a unit with the aim of a live performance at the end of it.
You'd want that.
So, there's a lot of tunes that I would consider iconic Beatles tunes, that come up in this documentary that you see them being written, it's almost, you can see the thought process that went behind like Get Back and Long and Winding Road, and the variations on lyrics they had, or variations on bass lines, or saying, maybe we should try that, which we all know is the defining part of that track. It was.
But we didn't back then.
Well, they didn't as they were doing it. So it was really interesting to watch that, and how certain songs were created, and the relationship that kind of broke down over that that time period. But the fact of the matter was, majority of it was captured on film. So,
which you would these days, but back in them days,
this is previously unseen footage, and Peter Jackson, like I say, director of the Lord of the Rings and King Kong and a load of other stuff, he's spliced into a story, and it works. So basically, we're on episode 2. I think episode 3 is due to be released. Give it a watch. So that's pretty much what I've been up to this week. Oak Island's back. I've got to catch up on it. I've got a couple of episodes to catch up on. To get back onto that, and I will be writing a blog soon. But
can't wait.
That's pretty much it for what I've been up to this week. Is there anything else you've been doing before we move on?
No, not really. I went to a funeral the other day. It ended up being a nice little funeral, but apart from that,
I'm glad everything went well.
It went really well. I thought it was a cracking one, to be honest.
Nice one. It's one of those where it's like, it's all you can hope for, isn't it? That everything's going to go well on the day, and everyone's going to be respectful and stuff. And
celebrate life and all that.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm glad that went well. Excellent. So, so moving on with the show. This week's show is going to be brought to you by Audible. Audible's a great way for new customers to try audiobooks and make the most of every moment. Because with a free trial, you receive one free audiobook of your choice, and we've got an absolute perler for you to try this week. UFO Chronicles, Alien Arrivals, by Sir Clifford Stone.
Yes.
It's narrated by Clifford Stone. It's about an hour and 15 minutes in length, but you can get it free.
Exactly.
By signing up for a free trial of Audible. So like I say, you get a free book of your choice, yours to keep, even if you cancel. Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks on their free trial. You'll be able to choose from the world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fi, romance, mysteries, classics, and more. After 30 days, you'll receive one book every month for the low price of $7.99.
See, even for a book at $7.99, that's better than what you get in the shops.
Definitely, and I mean, it's digital, so you get to keep it, you download it, listen to it. Obviously, they've got a world's best-selling storytellers, from Stephen Fry to, God knows, loads of people, even Sir Clifford Stone.
Yeah, and even like listening to shows like this and checking out the book to see the information, because we can only give you so much information, and there is a lot of information that this guy's got. So,
well, it's funny you should mention that, because a lot of the information that I've found for tonight's episode came from a book that you can find on Amazon, and it's called Eyes Only.
Yes.
And it's about the Clifford Stone story. So if you want to get over to Amazon, I'll leave a link in the description for that as well.
And get it for free.
So, Clifford Stone, as we say, he had a UFO experience that happened in Pennsylvania in 1969.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quoted in saying, you have individuals that look very much like you and myself. They walk among us. You wouldn't even notice them or notice the difference.
Oh, could be your best mate.
Stone, as I said earlier, he published a catalogue of 57 alleged alien races to the public domain.
I did.
So what do you reckon to that?
Well, I believe he had, I think it was 12 individual crash sites he ended up going to.
Yeah, because that was his, I mean, like, a bit of background about Clifford. He worked for the Air Force, didn't he? He worked for several branches of the military.
Yeah.
But primarily, he worked for branches of the Air Force. And I think some of his duties were to kind of recovery. We worked in recovery a lot of the time.
Well,
but
I'd say it was slightly more than just recovery.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, like we were talking about last week with Project Moon Dust.
Yes,
where the whole basis of that project was to recover alien technology.
Yeah.
Now, there was a quote where he was basically saying on one of his first incidents, he was sent out on what they were calling like a routine mission or like a test mission or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was in the recovery sort of
position.
Position.
Which the unit is called I'll spell it for you. OPNAC team. And they had the full authority and rank, no matter what rank they held, to basically do whatever they wanted in that area. So not even a general could turn around and tell him, right, no, you go away or you do this. They've had total authority over all the incident. So he was right there in the middle of it.
So, oh God, sorry. So, what did he? What did he discover? I mean, he was quite prominent, Clifford, in the UFO community, and he was a guy who believed in UFOs for quite a lot of his life.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what was it that sparked it off for him? Because I know you say we say he had a UFO encounter in 1969, and we'll go into that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But from an early age, I think he was kind of interested in space and what was beyond the stars. But how did he find himself in a position where it was the norm for him?
Because because he ended up having the ability to speak or telepathy.
If I could talk to the aliens,
yes, and
what a wonderful time.
One of the actual reasons why he was picked was because he was picked. Supposedly, this is from his words. He was picked at an early age, young age of 4, to have the communication between them.
Beep beep beep
and
beep beep.
That's one of the things
calling Austin
that he was brought in for, because if there was a being that was alive, he was the first one to actually go and speak to him.
So,
he was the actual
what you're saying, he was like the Professor X of the alien world. Like, you know, if any... Yeah. I mean, when people came down and they were like, right, we need to communicate with humanity, this Stone was who they called?
Yeah, they're called interfaces.
So Stone's an interfacer?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Because, like I say, I mean, he was quite an advocate of, like, disclosure. He wanted the world to know that we weren't alone,
there,
and there was something else there, and the government was kind of keeping this a secret. I mean, he went as far in 2001 as going to Congress, and he put a testimony in, and it reads, "Ladies and gentlemen, what did happen, I'm going to tell you tonight. There were craft that did not originate on the face of this planet. We have living beings, in them living entities, people much like you and myself. When I say that, I mean that they have culture, they have lives, they have families, they have likes and dislikes. It doesn't take me too awfully long to be being exposed to doing recovery." So basically, this is him saying that he was going into the recovery of, these ships.
Craft,
I came to realise this, but then I could not tell my family what I was doing. So so in that, he's kind of got to keep these secrets from his family. He can't tell them what his job is. He's in a position of the military where he's kind of got to keep stum. He can't even tell his closest, nearest and dearest.
Well, he was in the military. He only made it up to staff sergeant, and he got thrown promotion after promotion, and he couldn't get it. And the reason why is because while he was in there, he was actually working it out himself and trying to get details, and actually at face value, basically going around and asking people, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that?
Well, a couple of people were like really interested in actually what he believed, because like a few kind of sergeants and people above him would ask him, are you interested in UFOs then? And he'd be like, well, yeah. And they'd be like, so are we. Because the thing is, the thing what Stone kind of had, his argument was, it's not just a case of that it's individuals, every man on the street or everyday woman on the street. Yeah. It's high-ranking officials. We've done an episode on it where high-ranking officials, astronauts, aircraft captains, Air Force personnel have all put reports in to state they have been in an encounter with a craft that was far more superior in maneuverability, propulsion, everything.
I don't even think there's an agency within the world that hasn't put a report in for a UFO.
So to say that this is kind of like, bullshit, it's got no legs, has it?
Yeah.
Stone's incident, he kind of refers to quite a lot, is the Pennsylvania 1969. In his report, he continued to say that as part of that, he thought he was a nuclear biologist, biological unit exercise he was on. His duties included UFO crash recovery. The Pennsylvania incident included 4 dead grey alien greys. So if I said grey twice, it included. So basically, he was in a very emotional recovery, and at the end of it, it was like kind of that wasn't even the only incident he had like that in his life.
Yeah.
So he's been first hand in crash site recovery. Basically body recovery. Yeah, which sounds pretty grim.
It does, especially,
I mean,
someone's got to do it.
I know, but I mean, thinking about it this way, I mean, in terms of like humans, you're in a car crash, that can be pretty grisly. Yeah. But when you're dealing with an entity that you don't know its biology or its physiology, how are you supposed to help it? Try and save its life if you can. Well, even the grossness of it all, what I mean? They could be excreting something that you don't know.
Well,
shit, what's that?
I have heard about his first incident where he actually had to communicate to one of the aliens, but he was fearful as well because like they've been told before that like there are good ones and there are bad ones. At the end of the day, there is evil there as well as good ones, so you've just got to be careful. So he was very hesitant on the first contact to find out what was like, what you here for, what all these kind of questions, because he's the one.
Well, of course you would be. You definitely want to be kind of like what's your intentions stepping foot on planet Earth, because this planet is protected.
Yeah,
We've got the Doctor.
He only knew that there was only 7 interfaces all in all. That didn't include him. So all in all, there's been about 8 interfaces since 1969 till 1990, which is when he retired. 22 years of being in the forces, and like from year one, like you said, 1969, he's in there. He's right in there in deep.
Yeah. So he's basically, he's a bit kind of like Greer in this respect, like in the sense that, he's worked for the military, he's seen what he's seen, and he thinks this needs to be kind of public domain. Yeah. It needs to be out there because... he was
fighting for his country, not for the people who...
Well, yeah, exactly. He's not hiding, he's not fighting to keep secrets, is he? He's fighting to kind of be free, for freedom, if you like.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's what most, hand on heart, most, servicemen and women would say they are fighting for freedom. They're fighting for the country, right?
Yeah.
But does fighting for your country mean that you've got to protect secrets and hide things from your country in order to protect them?
To a certain degree.
Is that protecting them? Is what you're doing protecting them, or kind of... Well, it's an argument, isn't it? Because, I mean, like you've just said, there's good and bad. Yeah. Maybe if you find out about one, you find out about all of them, and that opens a can of worms that would lead us down an evil fucking avenue. Or we get we're fucking invaded or whatever. Yeah. But by keeping us in the dark, is that the protection?
Well, he believed that... he reckons that they don't want us to see him. For some reason, they don't want us to see him. But it's a bit funny, let's say, 1952, where over the White House, there's a big one, like, week after week, there was more and more UFO seen. So why don't you want to be seen? But you are actually being seen.
Oh yeah, I mean there was one report in his book in the for Your Eyes, or for whatever it's called.
Yeah.
What's the book called? It's
Your Eyes. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I can only read it today. No, I'm only joking. So in the book it does say about 30 objects appearing on a radar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was transferred over to another captain or general on the base.
Yeah.
And he was convinced that it was aircraft coming in, and they were expecting some aircraft, but
the wrong kind.
But it was the wrong kind, and they were like just assuming that this was like these B-17s that were expected, and
ended up being...
Well, no, nothing ever arrived, but there was 30 blips on the screen. Yeah. So, these a lot of evidence, and like Stone says, that there's a lot of people who've put testimonials in as high-ranking senior members of government agencies, and yet they have a lot of technological backup as well. So they'll have a lot of radar, fucking black box recording, whatever. They have a lot of technical aspects to the claims. To back up what they're saying.
Yeah, especially on radar.
It's not just some guy in the streets or stood in his back garden looking up at the sky and say, oh, fuck, I've just seen something with no evidence.
Yeah. They always bring evidence. And not only that, do you know, he actually said that he knows of 20 Soviet aircraft that were shot down because they were chasing UFOs. And do you remember, you might not remember, but in like the 60s, the U-2 spy plane, the American U-2 spy plane, the only one that got supposedly shot down.
Not to be confused with the U-2 spy album that was put on all iPhones not that long ago.
Yeah, what a terrible move that was. But this U-2 aircraft had been shot down by the Soviets supposedly, but Clifford Stone has seen documents and has documents to state that it was shot down by something else, which was a bit of a...
Let's not forget, Clifford was involved in a lot of government projects. Project Sign, that came into existence in January 22nd, 1948. The press release to the Project Saucer in February 1949, a report was released about Project Sign and its findings, that all UFOs could be explained away by hoaxes, illusions, misidentifications of known objects and aircraft.
can happen.
Well, yeah, it can happen, but not all of them. No. Obviously, the Air Force released a report knowing full well that it was incorrect.
Yeah.
This did not stop the influx of reports coming in from US Air Force dealing with UFOs, getting all these reports. They were finding acknowledgements that Project Sign didn't die at all.
No.
But in February 1949, it did continue under the name of Project Grudge.
Yes, it did.
Up until 1952. Then changed its name to Project Blue Book.
It did indeed, which we all know about that one.
Well, obviously that had its involvements with what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
With Project Moondust, which was the recovery of all this space junk or unidentified spacecraft,
where every single bit of information went through, and like you were saying, Blue Book and that, they were basically getting nothing, and they were bringing bullshit out.
Well, it's funny actually, because when they went to Congress. Stone approached Congress with the evidence that they'd amassed for Project Blue Fly, Moondust, and other projects that he was involved in, to do an in-depth investigation on UFOs and alien life. Stone and his team were told to destroy all the files.
Yeah.
So that says a lot, doesn't it?
I mean, but Stone isn't just standing there and saying these things. He's actually got documented proof, and there's even a Dan Sherman who can agree with everything he's been stating, because he was there at the time as well.
Right. Okay.
So there's extra eyewitnesses to what he was like or what he was doing and stuff like that.
I mean, there's a fair few videos on YouTube still, because obviously he didn't pass away until this year. So he's done a lot of interviews, but a lot of people have said that they had to sign non-disclosure agreements
with him.
So he talked to them, but they couldn't release the information. Finding information about his life and what he was involved in is very. I think that's why the book's called For Your Eyes, or your eyes, because it's like he was a very, even though he wanted disclosure, it came at a price by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it always does. It always does for whistleblowers, and it's a shame we have to live in a society where that kind of stuff just I mean, there's supposed to be protections for whistleblowers and stuff like that, but they're not really there.
Yeah, I mean, one phrase that he did use quite a lot, Clifford, was the lack of evidence the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Yeah.
So, totally. Meaning just because you've not seen the evidence doesn't mean it existed.
There.
Yeah. He actually says that, the evidence does exist, but it would never be published because unless you were able to break into the federal archives, and release that information.
Yeah, which you're not going to do.
But, I doubt you'll be able to get that. I mean, there's only one way you could kind of know these things, and he says that that's through integration and an interface exchange, as he puts it. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about earlier, about kind of having this sort of like connection or sort of like being able to communicate.
Yeah. Apparently, because he went onto a site not that long ago, a couple of years ago, where he was asking people, ask me any of the questions, read my book, read what you know about me, and ask me the questions, and I'll give you some answers to him. So there was a few questions, which is, one of them was, why are aliens afraid so much of the cross, the symbol of God? And he put down, it wasn't the cross, it was the faith within the individual that they were afraid of, because everyone's got their own opinion on different things, aren't they?
Okay. So he thinks that, that because I've heard some sort of rumours and stories that, like as a species, we have this sort of energy that aliens,
there's something within us. It's like the soul or something.
Has an appeal.
Yeah.
So
it's different to anything
having
else.
that faith, does that kind of strengthen that energy? I don't know. I mean, because obviously faith is a kind of a strong. No matter what you've got faith in, it's a strong emotion. It's a strong sort of, energy.
That might be it, though. It might be the emotion. I mean, the other races supposedly don't understand why we fight each other or why we do certain things,
that's primitive, isn't it? I think it's just basic instincts, really. I mean, we had an interesting conversation about evolution earlier on before the show started, and we were discussing whether this evolution. Was the Darwin theory correct, or was it an intervention from an alien species, or was it creationism? And
guess where I went.
Well, you can know where that went, but I mean, in terms of Darwinism, you could argue from the primordial soup to a certain point, we were evolving at the same rate as every other animal plant on this planet, but then we leapfrogged and we kind of progressed in a very short time.
Yeah.
So that gives credence to that, but was that just the case that we discovered how to use primitive tools or fire, or was it a case that we were intervened by a Sumerian alien race or something that,
happened
that gave us a bit more of more brain power and an advantage? Who knows? I mean, it's one of those things, but it's one of those things that, almost says they're both right. Because up to a point, we would have evolved to be a certain primitive man, and then totally there was an intervention, or it was just a natural progression or a natural sort of skip forward, just because we learnt something that we didn't know before, and that was enough to sort of catapult us ahead a little bit.
And I was arguing the case that then why hasn't any other animal changed as much as us? I mean, we've changed, like we said, in a very short time. We've changed into this magnificent
but I get where you're coming from with that, because you're basically saying that there's why
does it work for us and not for anyone else?
And this is the argument that people come up with. It's like, well, if we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys about? Well, it's like, well, great. But they say two parts of the world, you've got a similar animal, and that animal is a monkey, right? Yeah. And in one part of the world, there's sudden heat wave, and all the trees burn up, and now that monkey is forced to live on the ground. The other monkey in the other part of the world, he's happily going about his life in the environment that he's always lived in, where he's reached the pinnacle of that environment. He don't need to progress or evolve anymore because he's at the peak of where he is. So that monkey doesn't need to evolve. But the other guy who's his environment's altered or changed needs to now start trying to find food on the ground rather than in the trees, or burrow, because he's got no natural height advantage to hide up in the trees from predators. So
but then
that's
when
the evolutionary changes happen. But I mean, so you can argue that that's why, but it does kind of lead nicely into the into that sort of theory of that, were we altered by aliens at a certain time or a different race?
Or just an event that could have done it.
57 species, according to Clifford Stone, that he's identified as being on the planet at any one time. Although Sergeant Clifford Stone reported that the United States government has documents of over 50 alien species that have come to Earth, he believe that he's only just scratched the surface, and there's some claims that aliens are here already. Some of the alien species that he's put down are I'm gonna hate this now because so many really have bad words. The Alpha Draconians.
Yes, that's very good.
That's a reptilian beings. We have talked about these before, who are said to have inhabited the Earth millions of years ago, I suppose. There's claims of they originated on Terra thousands of years ago, and in fact they used to justify their attempts to retake the Earth for their own. So these are similar to in Doctor Who. Do you know that lizard race?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's where
that's
they got
who they're modelled from, aren't they? Sorry. Then we've got the Agharians. This is a group of Nordic sort of humans. So these are
very
the
white-skinned and white hair.
Humans who have source claims in mythology and stuff. They discovered vast systems of caverns below regions of the Gobi Desert and surrounding areas thousands of years ago, and have since established a thriving kingdom there. That's another one. You've got the Altarians, this is another reptilian sort of race. The Altar stellar system is where they come from.
Yeah.
They're kind of Nordic, similar to Nordic as well.
Right.
Then you've got the Sumerian.
Yeah. Sumerians.
Oh, God, you've got loads. Like I say, 57 different varieties. I was just a couple.
Just a couple.
So, I mean, like you say, I'll try and put the list up. I'll do a blog with all the list of all the aliens. And if I don't do it, tell me off. But you've also got the Nimrod and Iraq.
Iraq? That's a country, isn't it?
Yeah. Nimrod and Iraq, though, is what they say. Was ancient city of Babylon.
Yeah, Babylonian and Macedonia.
So, so in those regions, there was a lot of.
So you could put it down to like the that's supposed to be the birth of humanity, I suppose, and like the laws, calendars. And,
the Anunnaki. Yeah, so that's where the Anunnaki seem to have congregated. Sorry, I just went off drifted off them for a minute.
Yeah, no. Well, he was actually given a question about this, which was, how do you know there are 57 alien races and not one race that shapeshifts?
That's a good question.
It is, isn't it? That's a very good question.
Haha, trying to bamboozle you.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In fact, that was a Futurama episode.
Oh, was it? All right.
Yeah, because there was Leela, who, if you watch Futurama, like Leela's basically a one-eyed
sex symbol.
She thinks she's an alien. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's not. She's a mutant, right?
Right,
but for a long while, she believes that she's the last of her species and there was a race of her people, yeah? So when she meets another one-eyed guy, she thinks it's her obligation to, marry him and start the species up again, yeah?
Fair enough.
But he turns out to be a shapeshifter who's got a load of different five-eyed aliens, seven-eyed aliens, every part of his world, and he just kind of shapeshifts, goes off to see one of his wives.
Fucker.
Yeah, so I can see that happening actually. And plus, they do hide these things in plain sight, don't they? So maybe that's why.
Yeah, so much has been hidden in plain sight. It's unbelievable.
Blue people.
Well, he did.
Sorry, I'm shouting blue people out. I'm just noticing things on the list of alien species here. Bigfoot's one of them.
Yeah, that was. That was interesting. That because there is in certain circles speak of Bigfoot being alien and being dropped off and then picked up and stuff like that. But his answer to that question was simple. It's the book. And the book. Yeah, which basically...
Don't ever write that one again.
No one gets it apart from them. Them who work for OPNAC team, which tells them all the information they need to know, basically. But he also brought out another document to support his evidence, which was called the SOM1/1 document that came out in 1951, which was a Majestic 12 document that actually was giving details of these operations and the status and what they could do. Stanford Freeman agreed with it. He was a good one when he was alive as well. He had good investigations, really, really good. But then you got Jane Allerich, who reckons that there was 50 different mistakes. If you look at the documents compared to the military documents, it was rushed and stuff like that. But what he didn't come to realise is that military documents are military documents. These weren't military documents. These were operational documents that was quickly done for the operation team to go out and do stuff. They weren't there to regulate, thousands
so they weren't
of people.
Exactly top secret then.
Yeah, well, they were. It was top secret, but these documents aren't made like military documents. So that's where he was going, because he was trying to work out on the wording. Did someone put it, in the 20th century, something like the 21st century, changing certain words that wasn't used back then, an indication of how it was put together.
Yeah, I kind of get you where you're
going. But it's turning out that, these are private documents. They're not meant for the public to see or any of the military. Because surprisingly or not, when he finished, I think it was 1989, the year before he finished, he actually found out that, this is Clifford Stone, by the way, found out that the military didn't know what he was doing. Didn't know what he was doing. They did not know anything.
What about his research?
Yeah, about his job, anything. They didn't know anything. It was just a case of, right, you're working for them, bang, go over there.
Well, this is a lot of the problem with it, because, you know,
was he working for
there's
the
no
military?
shared information, so it's like, how do you know that, you know, who's doing what? And, it's so fucking cloak and dagger, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was a kind of a pretty established man in the military. I mean, he was a Vietnam War vet. He spent his whole life in the military. He, like you said, he never progressed over the rank of sergeant, which is quite staff sergeant's pretty good rank. Yeah, you know, but I mean, he could have probably gone further if he was you know, if he wasn't for the UFO thing.
Yeah, every time.
Was it just because he was kind of like making waves and they didn't want him to be blabbing, and you know that's what kind of stunted his promotional progress?
But it surprised me that why don't you just get rid of him then? He's working on them operations. He's still working on them operations. Yeah, when he's blabbing. And he's blabbing.
Yeah, exactly.
So why? Yeah, but then again, it's one of them in plain sight again. If someone's talking about something and it's not even happened, people start believing it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Keep doing that. I'm sorry, that's twanging the mic.
And like, if you don't want people to know about this, get someone to blab about it.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? It's just one of them psychiatrist things, I think it was. Well, there was a couple of more questions, like, have you ever witnessed a battle between the good and the evil aliens? And his response was no, but he was told that there are evil ones out there, so be careful on what you do.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier, isn't it? I mean, if you've got, you know, maybe the reason why the good ones are keeping quiet is because, like, if you get one, you get them all.
Well, yeah.
You know, is that going to be more of a problem than, you know, what we face at the moment? It's like, listen, they don't know about us, let them be in peace. Yeah. But the minute they find out for sure, it's game on.
Well, yeah. Well, according to him, he wishes he'd never been chose. That's definitely one thing he really reckons that he didn't want. He didn't want any of this. And then he reckons there's no one in the public office, no aliens in the public office, as it goes against their position, because they want to...
What, not to get involved?
Yeah, they want to help humanity, but not...
rule us or lead us. Yeah.
Which, I you know what, in a funny kind of way, I don't believe that, because there is now, especially through some of the information that's come out of Clifford Stone as well, about there was fighting between us and alien races, and also aliens v aliens, and we're being protected, but we're also being attacked. But then that might be why we're seeing ships or spacecraft around, because that's the enemy saying, hey, we want you to see us, but these who are looking after us or doing potentially whatever they're doing here, don't want us to know they're here. So there'll be a conflict in, like,
definitely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is interesting.
It is interesting, and whatever the situation, Clifford definitely had a passion for and an interest in UFOs. He was a huge part of the UFO community, and had 2 books published and spoke at many venues around the world about the topic. He was described as a treasure in UFO circles.
Diamond in the rough, mate.
Clifford sadly passed away age 72 peacefully at his home in February 10th, 2021. But, you know, he'll be missed in the UFO community, and, like, obviously...
he was a strong character. I mean, he was one of the characters that would push. He was like Stan Freeman. He was one of them who wouldn't let go and actually... Right, so you're telling me there is no moon dust project here and that. Right, all right, then I'll see you in a moment, and go and get a congressman, and then get the congressman to actually get this information out, only the little bits that they had. And it was like, he just would not, I think that took about 2 years to do. He just would not let go, and he's going to going to be a loss to the cause.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that was this week's episode. If you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions, or anything you want to add, don't be scared.
No.
Drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Therefore.
If you're a new listener and you want to come and have a chat, we're very approachable.
We are.
What do you think? Clifford Stone, obviously, he's like you say, he's a big character. We want to hear your views.
We do.
Moving on, I think we've got another little segment thing.
I think we have.
We'll pop that right now. It's a news! Oh yeah, and as usual, we've looked high and we've searched high and low.
Down the toilet, down the grid. We've been everywhere.
Yeah, we looked everywhere, all the way around the World Wide Web to bring you the most interesting, surreal, and damn right crazy news that we've discovered this week.
Crazy,
gee whiz.
There's craziness
I'm going to kick you
everywhere.
off with this story.
Well,
there is craziness everywhere. I mean, bloody hell. Yeah, right. If you've not watched the news this week, where have you been, living in a cave?
Yeah, it's been madness, man.
This story's amazingly crazy, right? Because, you've heard of Squid Game.
We've
talked about it on the show.
I've
still not watched it yet,
no.
right? But I keep getting recommended it, and we've literally just seen Mr. Beast had just done a video where he's replicated all the sets from Squid Game, and I kind of get the premise that it's kind of like kids' games that you've got to kind of get through, and, if you're eliminated, you're dead.
Yeah.
Now, it's a South Korean property, isn't it?
It is
originated in South Korea.
Yeah.
And with the beef that North Korea has with South Korea, no properties, no sort of kind of like, products, no sort of commerce, nothing can go on between the two countries.
No.
So
even though we tried.
This story relates to a North Korea has sentenced a citizen to death.
What?
After allegedly smuggling in a copy of Squid Games.
What? I'm surprised he ain't using it as like a technique to torture people.
Well, it was apparently given to a high school student. This was a report by Radio Free Asia.
Right. Okay.
So the smuggler brought the copy of the USB drive, which consisted of the show
program,
and gave it to one of the students, allowing him to give it to multiple friends.
Shared it.
So now it's been shared and obviously been copied. So there's not just one copy of Squid Games knocking around North Korea. There's several,
and they're going to follow the trail.
So this has led to the capture of this chap who's now been sentenced to sentenced to life in prison. As well as kind of facing a death penalty for bringing in a South Korean property.
You got to watch these countries that you get into, man. You know what I mean? It's like,
crazy, isn't it? I mean, it was like Thailand. I mean, I found this next story. I mean, like, this is weird, but I mean, do you know Thailand's big kind of? They've got a big drug. No.
Oh yeah, you'll get.
You're not allowed to do anything like that in Thailand. But now, a restaurant in Thailand have just opened their restaurant by bringing out on their menu like a dish, a pizza, in fact. It's called the Happy Time Pizza.
All right, so what's all happy about it?
Something of that description. Crazy Happy Pizza, it's called.
Right.
It's Thailand's major fast food chain.
All right.
It's promoting its Crazy Happy Pizza this month. And it's flying under the radar of officials because even though it's saying it's a cannabis pizza, they just put a big cannabis leaf on it. So it's legal, but it won't get you high.
Yeah, so it's probably a male plant.
But, in Thailand, I would not expect that. And I mean, the pizza looks disgusting. It's a Taiwanese pizza. They're not known for the pizzas.
No, they ain't.
But at least they're trying.
Well,
Stick a cannabis leaf on it. It was like, well, nah, just
roll it up and smoke.
Smoke that pizza.
Smoke it. Yeah.
It's like, my pizza won't light.
How many times is that pizza going to be left as well? I'll just take the leaf, thank you.
Well, nobody can smoke the leaf.
Well, yeah, that's true. Do? Yeah, but someone's going to put a proper leaf on there.
But that Squid Game story, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just, wow.
Well, you know what?
Go on.
I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard it sometime this week. But there is somewhere that actually does it. I can't remember where,
What?
but I was listening to it on passing. And
What, like Squid Game?
yeah, somewhat.
It's a fad though, because I remember when Fight Club came out, and there was like loads of like my mates going, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have Fight Club in this car park later. Are you coming?" I'm like, "No, you're mental."
Well, yeah, he must be. Well, he was in the film.
He was in the film. You're right. Yeah, he was seeing himself, weren't he?
Yeah, I can't remember. I will try and chase it up to find out if this is true and where it is. But I did hear it in passing.
It's like the Running Man. Like, you know, fight for your survival, or like Hunger Games type thing.
Yeah, but like, what film was it? I can't remember what film it was. It was a Van Damme film where he got picked up off the street and taken into the woods and got told, you can escape if you escape and get to a Jeep and like drive off.
Then
you get some money in that, yeah. But it actually turned out somewhere in the States, they were actually doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's like, think about big game hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a big game.
Think about how these people's minds work, that they go out with the rifles and they want to hunt big game. Yeah. What's the ultimate game? Another person.
Another one who's more difficult
to catch.
So if
you've got a guy who can think and strategize and fight back and evade you, right? Isn't that
ultimate game?
Isn't that the ultimate game?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there are millionaires or fucking people who know, running those opulent circles who do that sort of thing weekly.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Where there's some fucking chump running around the woods naked trying to get away from a hunter. Well, he needs fucking his head testing.
Well, look how many people get missing every year. There's loads of people missing every year. Well, I think it's something like
whoever it was,
million.
we were talking. I've sent a comment because there was a video on YouTube about the missing 411 who was saying about David Politis is lying about it, and I said I would love to get you on the show, and I missed the comment. Yeah, and I apologise for that, but I did miss your comment on YouTube. But I said, send us an email because we would love to talk about this a bit more. Yeah. Because this kind of links into that type of thing. It's like, why are people going missing? To the number is just ridiculous for the amount of people who go missing without a trace. Yeah. You know, especially in places like national parks and
it's worldwide. They don't just do America or Canada. I mean, it is worldwide.
Worldwide, baby.
Yeah, and that is that just comes into the thing of, is it an animal? Is it which in a lot of cases it's not, because he's the one who checks it out, and there's loads of different. It's just like someone disappears, then clothing have been put in certain areas, then their boots, and these are like professional like hunters and stuff like that as well, who actually get caught in places and found in places which you couldn't even walk there. You'd have to have an helicopter flight. I mean, the kid is the thing on my mind all the time when about when the dad turned around. He just walked out the tent and said, "Don't get
and then
your
the
coat."
Kid was just missing. Gone. Yeah, and then they found it miles away up the
hill. Yeah, with a pile of the clothes piled up nice and neat. Now the child is too young to do that in the first place, but there's a lot of strangeness around stuff.
I did find the ultimate strange story this week.
Oh, yeah.
I did think this was really weird.
Oh,
yeah,
what's so weird about this one?
Well, do you know Maradona?
Diego Maradona. Yeah, the hand of God.
Well, check this out.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
I believe it.
Maradona was buried without a heart.
Well,
sounds like a Disney movie
it
already.
Does, doesn't it?
Well, Maradona was allegedly buried without a heart, so soccer fans wouldn't steal it.
Well, he was a big star in.
Of course he was, but I mean,
Argentina, yeah.
This is the latest post-death scandal for the Argentine soccer legend, who has also recently been accused of sex trafficking and abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that, but Diego Maradona's longtime heart and soul of Argentinian soccer is apparently been buried without his heart. After in November 2020 he died. The soccer star was reportedly buried without his heart, according to a new book about the health of Maradona, written by the Argentinian doctor and journalist who treated him. So he's saying that they removed it because there was reports of a gang of super fans who were apparently going to dig him up and steal his heart. Like you do that.
Why didn't they put him in a steel box, concrete it?
Well, it's a bit disrespectful, isn't it?
Well, no, not really, because there has been people concreted before.
Right, okay.
To stop stuff
stealing,
like this happening.
steal my rings.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
mean, I'll put it into a place where it's secure. If it's
well, that's
bad.
what he's saying. He's done. It's like fucking Pirates of the Caribbean with like Davy Jones's art in a box, and it's like Maradona's heart. If you eat it, you will live 1,000 lifetimes and be able to kick balls.
Or is it to stop an investigation
You'll be able to
later
do some
on?
overheaders.
Could it be that the heart exploded and he's got nothing in there?
That he also, one of the other reasons why they removed it was because he needed to use it for cause of death. Analyze it for how. I think he just wanted to fuck about with the heart. I mean, sounds like he wanted to steal it.
I think he did.
In fact, I'd go as far as saying he succeeded.
He did, yeah. Now he's hid it in a lockbox somewhere.
It's like, that's going to end up on eBay at some point. It's like Maradona's heart going cheap.
Wow, look, Napoleon stuff still goes, you know what I mean? What was it that...
Just because he's got some sort of, thing for it. Really?
Yeah, his foreskin in a jar. It went for sale not a couple of years ago, and it went for like a good 100,000 or something like that.
Napoleon's foreskin.
And it's like, why would you want that? But there are people who look at that as art, you know what I mean? It's
historic, isn't it? And they're looking at it like that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything you've seen apart from Napoleon's bits?
No, I didn't see him the first time either.
Did you not show him yet?
No. He was a bit shy.
Well.
South Park. Have you heard this?
I love South Park, and I think, I mean, but just to quickly dive in here, right? South Park are so kind of on the ball with everything they do, right? They did have a bit of a lull. And I appreciate that. I can see it in the new series, like that they just want to be cancelled now. Yeah, right. They just don't want
pushing it.
I just don't think they want to do it anymore. Yeah, and after so many series, I feel like 27 series. Do you blame them? I mean, how much can you do with these characters? And I think but they still deliver. Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
So if you've been watching it, I think the pandemic special was amazing. I think Randy and his whole. Integrity Farms scenario has been genius, and if that's just been a whole marketing ploy to sell their own product line, then that's fucking
I ended up watching
as well.
That series when you kept going on about it. Well, it looks like they're going to kill off a character.
Don't.
Yes.
Is it who they're killing off?
They haven't said, and I don't want to say if I knew anyway.
Watch it be Kenny.
Kenny's always dying, you know what I mean?
I used to be able to do a good Cartman impression, but I can't do it now.
But apparently it's getting it come out last night.
Yes, and I will be watching this ASAP because it's a glimpse into the future, or as it's made out on the adverts.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a truth of the future.
Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, some of these cartoon things.
I forgot to mention this right at the front of the show, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving
all
to
our
the
American friends.
Yes.
Or Turkey Day.
Yes, Turkey Day.
Gobble, gobble.
Oh, lovely.
Gobble, gobble.
Nice.
Do you know what? I do like a good turkey, but do you know what I like about American turkey?
What?
And I mean, I'm not saying that all people do it like this, and it might be the trailer park hick way to do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the drum of oil in the backyard.
Yeah, what's that about, man? Yeah.
You're deep frying your turkey, aren't you? It's like southern fried chicken.
Yeah, just don't do it from frozen.
Yeah, because it explodes by all accounts.
Oh,
but
do it by frozen and it'd be funny.
I'd be interested to taste it. I bet it tastes fit, to be honest. Deep fried turkey. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that myself.
Yeah, so and I mean, it's an event, isn't it? It's like when you drop your turkey into a big vat of oil in the back garden. That's
plenty of fires yesterday.
It's boring watching it in the oven, getting it out to baste.
Well, yeah, you're doing that at fucking Christmas, aren't you? You know what I mean? So it's all about what else can we do?
Well,
bam, thank you.
But just wanted to wish you all a good holidays, and obviously we don't celebrate it over here, so that's why I forgot at the beginning. But that's
right. We have Good Friday. Black Friday.
Good Friday. We do have Black Friday. We just don't have Thanksgiving. It's just but that's how shops are, aren't they?
Well,
you know what I mean? They want to cash in on all the fucking. It's like
Yeah, but most of it's cheaper throughout the year. It worked out that...
Well, this is actually a story that I was going to get into because actually, there's been in the UK, and it was probably the same in the States, but there's been a lot of companies and shops and retail outlets that have been caught out for, putting falsifying their information and product prices.
Yeah.
So... it'll be a product that was probably cheaper earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
And now they've put it up to say £69 just to mark it down to its original price.
Yeah.
So you're not paying any less for it than
in fact,
were.
you may be paying a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've always thought that Black Friday sale mentality does bring out the worst in humanity. Watching those videos on YouTube, just for the sake of a fucking comforter or a duvet or say one in the same, aren't they? But like a microwave or a toaster oven.
Yeah, but now I suppose you can do it online and go like, I'll have that, and that.
But again, they've got that all sat in a warehouse, and they were, it was probably stuff that they couldn't sell originally if they wanted to, and it was sat in the warehouse for ages.
Yeah.
And just because they've now included it on a web page that says Black Friday deals,
bam, they've doubled the price, doubled the money.
They'll sell half, even if they sell half of them. It was half that they couldn't sell 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So, a lot of the time people just buy it because they're told it's on sale and they don't really need it anyway.
No, if you check what it was at sale a couple of months before.
On the flip side, if you were going out to, say, buy a TV or a laptop or whatever, and you needed it, then take advantage of it if there is some legitimate savings to be had. But don't go out just fucking spending because you think you're being conned. Because you think there's deals to be had. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. There are deals out there, but very few than you expect.
Well, one thing I've got to say is the internet's a bit of a dodgy place at the best of times. But like these, one thing that people do seem to get kind of taken in by, it's celebrity endorsements.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be, say, Martin, what's he called? Martin from the Money Advice website.
I'm thinking Bashir. I don't know why I'm thinking Bashir.
He's definitely not the guy, but people know who I mean. It's Martin, the Money Advice chap. Yeah, right. He's synonymous with saving money, good advice, all the stuff, and how to get the best out of your quid. Yeah, right. So when you see an endorsement on Facebook that says this is a great investment, it's endorsed by fucking Richard Madeley, Martin the Money Advice guy, and so Judi Dench. Yeah. Then some people go, oh, it must be legit, and dive on it, because for years in the UK we've had over 50s done by celebrities, like these adverts on the TV that kind of, Judi Dench doing these adverts that say if you want a life insurance, like I use it because I'm over 50, and they're putting their face to the endorsement, then you've trusted them. Who's the other one where you always got a free Parker pen?
It was
Michael Parkinson.
That's the one, Parker.
Yeah, Parkinson with a free Parky pen. Yeah, and I thought that was very clever marketing. But it's Parkinson. Everybody trusts him. So if you see an advert on Facebook where it says Parkinson did this, chances are you might buy into it. But you need to realise that not all of these people actually are endorsing these products. They're just putting a photograph of them, and it's you just. If you see a celebrity endorsement and you think, I trust that celebrity, just look into the product or the company you're buying from and see if this celebrity actually does endorse it or not, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, because they did do a show years ago. I can't remember what it was called, but they got celebrities to sell this, a big pill.
Oh, that was Brass Eye.
That's the one, yeah.
It was Cake.
Yeah, Cake. Yeah, sell this cake to kids.
It was a new, supposedly like a new drug that was coming on the market. I think they got Shawn Ryder, and he was like, "Get cake, kids."
Celebrities, yeah.
Don't take cake. No, it wasn't. It was they were endorsing not to take cake.
Yeah,
don't take cake.
Don't take
they weren't
cake.
saying take cake. Yeah. But getting celebrities to endorse a new drug.
They didn't realise what they were doing. All they got told was, here's your check, say that, done.
Well, that's what all these panels do. There's a lot of those shows on the TV that do that, where they'll go, they'll just get a celebrity in and then ask their opinion on a variety of topics. And then they're able to edit those bits out to make an episode about celebrities who like this about the 90s, celebrities who like that about the noughties.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just all they were done is we'll ask about 50 questions and then that's spliced up. But if you ask enough celebrities, you get a show out of it.
Yeah. And not only that, like, they got caught, didn't they, with children in need. Like, half the celebrities were getting paid.
They got caught with children in need. Yeah, they were.
They got paid to go there.
I know, this is it. If you're going to go and appear on a telethon for charity, then you do the job for free. Do you know what I mean?
You're showing yourself and promoting yourself.
You don't send them a check or a fucking invoice for your appearance, do you? That's fucking boys. Well, anyway, moving on with the news, I found this story which was quite nice, and we've done a few of these, but this is by far the longest.
Oh, right.
So this is a Boise library that had a book returned, 110 years after being checked out.
Whoa.
I can't believe that the fact that it is 110 years ago it was checked out and it was still returned, because, you know, when you find a library book under the bed, like, and you think, oh, shit, I forgot to return that book. Yeah.
Are you going to return it after 100 years?
Yes, usually the same person who checked it out returns it.
Surprised the building was still there.
Surprised that the book still exists.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
now, this book
valuable
was...
now, must be.
I know what the book's called.
Must be valuable now, that.
It was the Chronicles of Rebecca.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. No. But it was
valuable now,
one book that made its way back to the Boise Library 110 years past its due date, according to the library assistant. They said they were very surprised.
I'm not surprised,
when they checked the records and said that it was checked out in 1911.
And how much did they get charged? They must have found the person and charged them.
No, imagine the overdue date for that.
Yeah, it must be about $2,000.
$2,000? That's more than that. I'd probably buy him a whole new wing of the library.
Well, no, if he bought it at, like, let's say tuppence, say 2p, $2,000 is about right.
Well, it wasn't actually returned to its original library first off. It was returned to the Garden City Library, and then they noticed we had a Boise stamp on it.
Yeah.
Hey, from Boise.
So they've been hiding it for a number of years then.
So, no, they sent it off back to Boise.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I think that's remarkable that, you know, that it's survived that long and it's managed to get there. But, yeah, it was checked out November or December 1911. According to their accurate database of checking cards and stamps.
Yeah, the original.
Old paper stuff.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that shit.
No, and you can't go wrong.
Well, you can if you burn it.
Well, yeah, you don't want to burn it now. Now, the value of that the value of that must be...
The book?
Yeah, it must be over 110 years old. And let's say it's been on the shelf for another 5, so let's say about 115 years old. That's a valuable book, that. You think about it, but then depends what's in the pages.
Well, you were talking about value.
Yes, value. Well, what about this? A man gets a job after standing in a tube station with a CV and a signed, like a big sign next to him.
Saying, giz a job.
Yeah, wanting a job interview, and he got a job within 3 hours.
Where was it?
His dream job.
Where was it?
Canary Wharf.
Canary Wharf, right. So, he's stood in Canary Wharf, right?
Yeah.
Now, he's got a degree.
Yeah, he's got a degree in banking and finance.
So, he's a clever chap, right? And he wants a job in banking and finance. So, why doesn't he not just take his CV down to all the companies in Canary Wharf, where he is anyway? Yeah, so... Two things spring to mind. It's ingenious, yeah, for one, because rather than going to the receptions of all these companies, all these people have just got to pass him on the tube anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And there might be a job.
Fly
somewhere.
pitching his CV,
Yeah.
It cuts out the legwork, really, doesn't it?
Well, no, but the reason why he did it was because he'd been sending emails and, getting no response like these companies do. And then he was getting sick and tired of it. That there's a lot of emails that get sent out.
We should do that, because you hear about a lot of radio DJs getting the start like that. They just go straight down to the station, don't they, and just walk in and go, all right, we're here. When do we start?
It used to be for albums, isn't it? Here's a tape, listen to me tape, see what you think. If you like it, give us a call.
Nah, that never happened.
Well, yeah.
Do you know
usually got stolen and
just
sold
throwing
to
it
another one.
throwing it in the bin.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've got me. Will you listen to me demo?
I thought he was clever to do it. He was
Used his initiative.
He's only a 24-year-old lad as well, you know what I mean?
And now he's sweeping up and making tea.
His dream job, apparently. He's
sweeping up and making tea is his dream job. What a ledge.
Yeah, well, he's getting paid, if he does it.
He's probably doing something better than that.
Well, some kind of banking.
Like I say, it's thinking outside the box, but he's, but...
Wrong industry, I think.
I don't know if he's genius or a lazy bastard. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of like cool in, but the fact that he's...
Either way, cutting the corners, isn't he?
He's on that line. He's on that fine line. Do you know?
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
But he did it.
We're talking about wealth and stuff earlier.
Yeah.
China have just done something a bit crazy.
They've
banned celebrities from showing off any sort of extravagance or wealth.
What, so they can stop being westernised?
So on social media, so they're saying pop stars must comply with core social values.
Oh, and what will happen if they don't?
They'll get defunged.
Oh, yeah. They get cut off.
They'll get they'll cut off the credit cards and, because the government, innit, they can just basically say, what,
CCP
you're flaunting your cash, are you?
Yeah.
Stop being a prick.
Well, yeah. Well,
no, because, to be honest, right, I kind of agree with that because back in the day, right, even in the UK and, like social etiquette, it was what they'd say wasn't becoming flaunting your wad.
Yeah, I agree with that. But then all the wankers that have been getting away with this, that, and the other, where the rich cunts are, and where they are is where the money is where.
But that's another reason to play it low key. Do you know what I mean? If you're rich, you don't go around advertising the fact that you're rich unless you want to get mugged or taken advantage of. So,
know at least 2 millionaires who walk around in, scruffs.
Yeah, well, but then there's a lot of them, though, who flaunt the shit even when they've not got it. Do
you
know what I mean?
And
it's like these Instagram... But what that does is when you see these influencers kind of showing off and showing what they've got and showing the new trainers and the fucking flashy Jags... not Jags, fucking... Lamborghinis and shit, then it makes people kind of aspire, and aspiration and envy leads to kind of people trying to rise up and trying to get more for themselves, which is that's not China's fucking bag, is it? They don't want people trying to progress and do well for themselves.
They got their foot down and
those who have done well for themselves they see it as a kind of an obligation to don't kind of flaunt it, when
but
they're saying that's their social cause of being But
you got to consider that
modest.
Has been over the last, especially the last couple of years, loads of billionaires being made in China, and the thing is, they haven't had that kind of thing before, so they, you know what I mean? It's a case of if you won the lottery tomorrow, you will go out and do certain things that you want to do, and then...
I wouldn't be going on Instagram going, check what I got.
Well, no.
Check my fur coat and my bitches and my Lambo.
If you got the money to get the security and, all that kind of stuff, then you'd be flaunting.
I do apologise to all the bitches. So, ladies, do apologise.
But it's one of them...
I was being ghetto, gangster, whatever,
Trying.
I'm definitely not.
So if you come from nothing and you made something, you want to enjoy it a certain amount of time.
That doesn't mean...
where you don't
can enjoy it. You can enjoy it without being
you start getting hated. People will start hating you as well because you're flaunting it in their face and they haven't got a fucking pot to piss in and you're going, well, I've just bought this, I've just bought that. But, each to their own, but, just be careful.
Well... There you go. Have you seen anything else going on?
I have. Talking about China, there's their quantum computer.
I love that you've learned how to say quantum properly.
Yes, quantum.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done, sir. Go back to earlier episodes. It's quite funny.
Quantum.
Is it? Quantum. I couldn't even say it myself. It was ridiculous. I wanted to put it on a T-shirt.
Well, I've been reading it that much that it's just come through. It's
fair play. Come on, right? So they've stolen a quantum computer.
Well, no, they've got one of the biggest quantum computers in the world, and basically, 5 students actually saved the day on last Sunday night at 2 a.m. because there was a water flood that was coming through and about to
a water flood
basically damage the computer. which
Opposed
would
to
have
The Shining.
destroyed it, absolutely destroyed it. So they'd have to start from the beginning again, and they're quite ahead of the game. You know what I mean? They're about second or third, most powerful. So it was a lucky escape to them. But on the flip side, the 5 people who got a reward, it actually flipped on them because the rest of the researchers were showing them how they were overworked. That overworked that like they deserve something. As
Give
well.
us the money.
Yeah. Everyone
We'll
wants
take
money
it.
just because they saved the bloody computer. You know what I mean? That's only 5 of them. What did they have? Probably a week off.
Yeah, probably just
or a
got
day.
a couple of hours off.
Yeah. You got lunchtime. You got an hour.
Said you can have Christmas off.
You can,
but we don't celebrate it. So get back to work.
Back now.
You've been at it again, haven't you?
Have I?
Oh well, no, I'm saying it can't be you because a man's been arrested for stealing 47 pairs of yoga pants.
Oh yeah, I like them yoga pants.
Apparently he was released and he struck again.
He struck again? What the fuck was he, like a knicker sniffer or something?
He must be the yoga pant FIFA.
What, are these
this is in
pants have been
Vancouver.
worn?
I'm assuming so, but this is officers
Selling
rearrested a 44-year-old man on Monday night.
Dirty old man.
One of 9 people arrested.
Oh right, so it's a gang.
Continue its campaign and clampdown of the number of yoga pants being stolen in the area now. It's a shoplifting incident. So that's getting
this
comes
ridiculous.
down to shoplifting.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously
serious,
it's funny because of what they were stealing, because they're always stealing something really random.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I
was
mean?
stupid.
And this occurrence, yoga pants. So like he stole 47 pairs the first time, got arrested. Yeah, and he's gone in for another one. But not only that, the whole gang's been apprehended by the sounds of it.
They've all been at it.
The man was arrested on Friday night for the alleged theft of the yoga pants.
Wearing them.
And released on Saturday. Police are not releasing his name because charges against him have not been approved by Crown prosecutions.
So he might get away with it, yeah?
Probably.
By the skin of his pants.
You know.
Bub.
Do you know what I mean? They're always ridiculous thefts.
Yeah.
Stop thieving pointless shit.
Yeah, actually stop thieving.
Yeah.
Because he's really getting really bad in America at the minute.
Do you know what, right?
He's getting so terrible.
Well, do you know what? I mean, I'm not even going to
see someone
turn
getting
around.
shot for
I
it.
just think thieving off other hard-working people
Yeah,
is
he's
just
out of order.
fucking like, you
Do
know,
what, Rob?
one
Rob
of
from the
those
bank.
things.
The bank's got your
Rob
money.
from someone who's got insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Walmart,
Oh,
Rob from them, they put out a children's toy.
Oh, have they? Oh.
Yeah. That apparently hasn't even been recalled. So watch out if you're going to buy one of these. It's supposed to be a learning toy.
Oh,
yeah. And it's a cactus. Yeah, for kids.
Little kiddies.
It's a dancing cactus, like a plush toy that sings songs in different languages. It sounds. This is something Del Boy would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one of the songs it sings is in Polish, and it's a Polish rapper, who sings about suicide, depression, cocaine use.
Whoa.
Yeah, and swears. Yeah,
Whoa.
There was a woman in the States who this story relates to who bought one for a grandchild. Yeah, and she happens to be Polish. So this was in Toronto, Ontario. The grandmother who bought an educational toy for her 15-month-old granddaughter was shocked when she discovered that the dancing cactus started swearing and singing about doing cocaine.
No, that's
This toy uses words and tackles themes about using cocaine, suicide, and other sort of kind of pretty dark shit.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Walmart haven't yet taken it off the shelves.
You're joking. Who developed them?
I have no idea. It's a Chinese. I think it's a Chinese company that have made it.
Right.
The rapper whose song has been used is currently putting in a copyright claim to because they've used his song without his permission. So he's putting in a copyright infringement that they've used his track.
What, against China?
Against the company that
Walmart
have made it.
Yeah.
And obviously Walmart have been selling it, so
so
they'll be liable to a certain extent as well.
Yeah.
But
check it.
if you've bought one for a kid for Christmas and you've not yet heard this story, then
have a look at it before you actually
make sure you check it out before you give it to your kid.
Yeah.
But then again, if your kid doesn't speak Polish.
Yeah, what's the harm?
Yeah.
And so they're at school and they're getting taught Polish, and it's like, remember that toy you got me when I was 4 years old?
Kids retain stuff, don't they? So it's like they could be just start singing it in the
supermarket.
supermarket.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
Yeah,
in school, and
someone
Polish
goes,
like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Sniffing up cocaine in the toilets.
Oh yeah, never thought of that. You know, that's a crazy shit.
So yeah, just make sure if you've got a dancing cactus, check it out for gangster rap.
Yeah, even in different languages, try and get someone to interpret it if you can. That's crazy shit.
Well, I've got a couple more stories, but before we get into the NASA news,
I've got
go on.
two. I've got
Go for it.
COVID. I know.
What's it now? It's the dodecahedron.
Well, last week I said
octagon.
Africa had hardly any, which was true. Now the governments and the WHO are saying that there's a new strain that's spreading like wildfire, yet only, I think, was it 50 people in Africa got it, 2 in England.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is,
China.
if there's a variant that you're worried about and you think that it might come into the country, then you need to take action against that. But what I saw Boris Johnson doing on the news earlier was saying, we're not going to close travel, we're going to still let you travel.
Yeah.
Because closing the borders isn't going to really stop it, is it? It's only going to slow it down. Well, slowing it down's better than not slowing it down, Boris. I'm sorry.
Exactly. He should have, as soon as he heard about it, right, no planes go.
Now, they say that it's like the Delta had double the amount of little fucking grabby on things that are attached to your your immune system or whatever it is, your antibodies or your body red blood cells that make you sick. And this has now got 10 of them. This new variant. So does that mean it's because the way they described it is obviously if it's got 2 of these things, then it's twice as likely to affect you or get you. So if it's got 10 of them, is it 10 times more likely to that you're gonna get it, or
10 times.
10 times as much? But that's what I'm saying. But whether you've got 1 times the chance or 10 times the chance, you still got the chance of getting COVID, right?
Even having the vaccine.
Even if you've had the vaccine.
So-called vaccine, let's get this right.
So what's the vaccine for?
The vaccine's to stop the damage afterwards to your lungs and your because the first wave there was people getting afterwards getting hurt inside.
And I appreciate the fact that it does stuff like that it stops this and it helps with that. But so does a Lemsip. Right. Or so taking a couple of painkillers, or building up an immune response to an illness. So like you catch a flu, you fight it off naturally, and I appreciate that these people who are vulnerable and they have trouble fighting off these things,
which agree they need help,
and they need help. I don't dispute that the vaccine isn't a good thing, but they should stop calling it a vaccine because it's not
really not.
Now they're saying that this new variant might not even be be able to tackle the vaccine.
The
vaccine's not going to be able to tackle against it. So are we back to square one is my question. Are we kind of like in a situation where they've got to go back to the drawing board and create another vaccine? And does the population want to take another jab in the arm? How many's enough? And then what's this cocktail going to do?
Well, and a lot of people who've taken it don't want it. They wish they never took it.
Well, you see that in the numbers, don't you? Because obviously first vaccine, there was a solid 70% of the population. Then second jab, it goes down to about 49%. Then third jab, booster, it drops down significantly. That suggests to me that they went in for it, going, go on then, I'll take the jab. And then they went,
we learned more about it.
I don't really want another one. That hurt, or I got sick, or I fucking had side effects.
Loads of people have had side effects.
They've changed their mind, And then when it came to the booster, it's like, well, 3 injections and a flu shot?
Oh, it's 4 now. It's 4
for some people. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how many jabs is enough?
But
before they turn around and say, it's all good now, And I'm not opposed to the vaccine. by any stretch. I think a vaccine is a good idea, and that is the answer.
But this ain't a vaccine.
This isn't what they promised. It's like that old Ron Seal advert. It's not what they said it was on the tin. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. And the thing is, the woman in South Africa, sorry, not South Africa, but Africa, who's supposed to be looking after the continent, even she's come out and said, what are they on about? We've had different variants for ages. It's just there's no difference in this. We don't know why.
Why do they consider this one?
I think it's for another lockdown. I think it's another threat to try and get control of the people. Because there's near enough every country there is a group that is proposed against this, and they have good reason.
If you watch the news at the moment, there is a lot of riots and protests.
Pfizer just got found out about. They're in their third stage of a court case because someone who was dealing with the information and a whistleblower who come out had actually tested. It supposedly. There's falsified information there because if you remember at the beginning it was 95% proof, then it went down to something like 86, then it went even worse down, and they reckon as well the test subjects weren't done right. It was there's a lot of falsified information going around.
In the sense that what do you mean documentation to say people are vaccinated when they're not?
No, when they've added this
because I know when they were doing the ones I know who had the placebos. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, but what they said was they were going to do the test on the vaccine. Say if they got 1,000 people, and 500 of them had the placebo, they'd still get a green tick on their card to say they are fully vaccinated. So that means that the statistics are off in that respect because these 500 people who you claim are vaccinated that aren't, you gave them a placebo.
They wish they only had. They wish they had 1,000 people. They only used 200 people.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a very good bench test, is it?
And they also had issues on the test on like the tubes. The different they were wrong.
Well, saying that, Putin did one the other day. He claimed to have tested an experimental vaccine developed in Russia and to kind of show his sort of...
Sputnik.
Yeah, Sputnik. Yeah. So to show his, confidence in it, he took it himself. It's a bit of a Trump. It's a bit of a Trump move, if you ask me. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it's a propaganda move, isn't it? It's like, look, I'm going to take it, so, it's not going to be bad if I'm going to take it, is it?
Yeah,
so,
if I take it, you'll take it, because whatever happens to me will happen to you. Yeah, sorry,
it's only what we did. It's like it's on the news with the Queen getting her jab. Do you know what I mean? It's like, everyone's doing the bit, even the Queen. Hey, everybody's doing their bit. Yeah. It's like some fucking old World War II propaganda video.
Totally.
Even the Queen is sitting down to a nice injection of COVID medicine.
Of course it is. Pfizer's they've broke all
spoonful
records
of sugar,
on money.
Mom.
And they broke all records on money. They even give, I think it was $7,500 to every employee. It's actually ridiculous the amount of money that they've earned. And I've just found out worldwide. Do you know how much money the rich made?
A lot.
50 trillion.
50 bajillion.
50 trillion.
$50 bajillion dollars.
Made out of all this shit.
Well, probably because this is it. It's like the race for a vaccine. The minute Pfizer announced that they had a vaccine ready, share prices went up significantly because everybody thought, you could argue it where everyone's saying, well, we want to put the money in these because obviously they've made the groundbreaking discovery or they've kind of got there first, and that means their share price is going to go up.
Yeah,
so
that
to me is just a business. A business fucking strategy and move, by the rich people who have got the money to invest because they know that the share price is going to go up. Means that in a couple of months' time they can sell it on for a higher price. That's all that means.
Worse than that, like you just said, they sell it on to another price. They've just made contracts out to. They've give away a lot of their products up to now, but now we're going to be paying double the amount back. We're going to be paying high charges for the next load that are coming out, which is going to make them even more money.
There you go, you see. Well, moving on in the show, because we're running out of time.
We are.
We've still got NASA news coming up.
Yeah.
But last story here, And talking about sweet things to take with your medicine. Yeah. Canada, oh my days, they're having a bit of a mare at the moment. Yeah, because they've had to tap into strategic reserves.
Oh, what?
To deal with a mass shortage of maple syrup.
Oh, liquid gold, man.
Liquid gold, it's one of their main commodities. I mean, the maple leaf, synonymous with Canada, as well as maple syrup.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been high gas prices, which has pushed, a lot of kind of things into
prices
reserve. Everyone's kind of like can't truck stuff out as much. Yeah. So it means that America's basically relying on the reserves of this, as they put it, liquid gold.
Yeah.
So
good,
the Quebec maple syrup production have basically got a reserve there, and they've announced that it'll be looking at about £50 million of its strategic maple reserve.
I see.
I wonder how much they put it away, and I wonder if, when they reserve it, is it like wine that it ages and it becomes nicer? Or, more expensive? Or, it's
I think it's more like
this
honey.
Is a 50-year-old malt.
I think it's more like
honey fucking maple
just,
reserve.
It doesn't go off.
It's a preserve.
Yeah, it is a preserve.
It's a preserve, not a reserve. Maybe it's the same thing, preserve, reserve.
Well,
you say tomato, I say tomato.
Good shit, good valuable shit as well.
But let's not call the whole thing off.
No.
So, yeah, I thought that was interesting, though, the fact that, do you know how much they have in reserve? £50 million of syrup.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. 50. Let's see,
that's about half of their stockpile.
Yeah.
But I found that interesting in the whole tap-in of maple syrup. Yeah. We had a talk. We were discussing it earlier because I watched this thing about myrrh and frankincense. Not a lot of people know exactly what they are, but they're prominent in the nativity. Yeah, it's the gifts that the wise men give to Jeebus.
Three wise men?
Mr. Jeebus Christ Jr.
With a bit of gold.
Right, with a bit of gold. Oh, myrrh, gold, Frankenstein, and myrrh. Yeah. Right. So, but that's produced in very similar ways to maple syrup because they tap trees and it's like an amber that comes out and then it's used in incense. It's got a kind of prominent smell. And it's produced from a tree that only grows in like really harsh, barren environments.
Yeah.
But they're saying that the tree itself is going to go extinct. So the price of myrrh and Frankenstein have gone up a bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean,
Jeebus ain't getting no frankincense this Christmas.
To me, they look like dead bodies with fucking vein fingers in them.
What
to drain them?
Like little taps.
Yeah, because it's like when you go to hospital and you get fucking
a drip,
dripping.
Yeah,
it's like one of them. It's like, whoa, what the?
Well, it depends. Maple syrup, it's like free running, isn't it? Whereas this myrrh and that, it's like more of like a solid comes out and then sets quite quickly. Yeah. So like it comes off. And
you
when
can't
they
put it to air,
it's like that in Jurassic Park. Do you know, like the amber when it the bugs get trapped inside it?
That's right. Yeah, on the top of the stick.
He's got it on the top of his cane. Yeah. So there you go. Maple syrups on pancakes. Thank you very much. I'd love to visit Canada and have some proper maple syrups. Watch some hockey.
I'd like to live over there.
I would, to be honest.
Yeah,
Can we
nice log cabin.
Can we come and live over there? If you sort us out some accommodation, we'll come.
I was going to do it a few years ago, funny enough.
I'll come over there with Canada.
I was even looking for the Canadian place to go and get the passport and stuff.
Was you?
Yeah. About 5 years
Take us in, Canada.
Yeah.
We'll be your citizens. We'll pledge allegiance.
We will, indeed.
We're all about the Canada.
Well, that's a part of our... It's part of our old empire.
Well, let's not like go over there lording it over people. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yes, well, you used to be part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah. Well, no, they're still part of it, aren't they?
Well, they are, really, I suppose. But, anyway, I think if we do, I think the people of Canada would be lovely.
Yeah.
And that's
another reason for moving over there.
Exactly. And they got a pot leaf on the flag.
Oh, yes. And you can smoke it there legally.
True that. Right, well, Pentagon forms a new... Talking about all these UFO... fits quite nicely going into NASA news. Pentagon forms a new UFO investigation group.
Oh, another one.
This is the one. This is kind of because the Pentagon's formed it, but it's made up of people who actually want to know apparently.
Right, yes.
Right?
Yeah, because we've heard this before.
I've heard this one before.
It's been a long drum.
Like Sergeant Clifford Stone didn't want to know, but he was still involved in them. So the Department of Defense isn't ready to give up on UFOs just yet, apparently. They've never been bollocks. So basically, the Pentagon have announced that they're forming a new organization called the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, which is such a great wording. So they're calling it the AOIMSG, which tackles investigation reports of UFOs, or as the Pentagon prefers to call them, UAPs.
Yeah, I smell blue bucket.
It is very blue bucket.
Yeah, because I know it's been coming forward a little bit more, but
What's you want to call it? The
CIA's just dropped a load.
Yeah, no, CIA's manageable to say though, but look, I can't even get this out. The AOIMSG. So you can't even put it into
it's a mouthful, isn't it?
Into something I can say as like an acronym or something. That's right, isn't it? It's an acronym. Yeah. Just come on. You're supposed to be the military. Come up with some better names for stuff, please.
Yeah, I believe it when I see it. When they actually turn around and go, well, actually, there is something in this. We're investigating more and actually bring, proper evidence up front instead of like. I'm hoping that they need to go and have a look at the documentation that they can bring out.
This is what they're doing, because apparently they're saying they're launching a preemptive strike on the Senate about UFO law. So, like, basically adopting a Sun Chi mantra, like, strike first, strike hard, no surrender.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Right.
Needed their ass
and the Defense Department have launched their, preemptive strike on Congress, specifying their efforts to ramp up the government's research in UFOs and, unidentified aerial phenomena. On Tuesday, the Department of Defense, Kathleen Hicks, announced the formation of the group that has led the government UFO investigation, and that's who's going to be taking up in charge of it. This new investigational sort of.
Let's just hope it doesn't go anywhere.
So, Miss Hicks or Mrs. Hicks. Let's see what you bring and do. Good luck.
Yeah,
we'd love to see what you do.
I think she's going to need it as well, because she's going to have a lot of backlash coming through.
Definitely,
because they won't want. They don't want.
Not got Stone around now.
Well, yeah, that's it.
With all the on-hand information, because obviously now that these people are dying off, people who were around for the original Roswell and fucking Blue Book and all the rest of it, been there,
actually got the documents out.
They're dying. Yeah. So now they can just go, we've hidden all the information, but the people want to know. So what we do is we put a team of young blood in, who are going to go out trying to investigate but find nothing. Yeah. And then they'll report back going, look, we're the ones who really wanted to know and we found nothing. So, unfortunately, there isn't anything to find.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then they just go in, we got one over them.
Yeah. It's just going to be the same old fight until someone brings, the alien turning around going, hello, I've been here for
years.
Have
you met my friend Jeff?
Yeah.
This is Jeff. He's an alien. Yeah. Say hello, Jeff.
Do the real thing that happened in at Philadelphia Lights. In Philadelphia, when the mayor come out and he come out with an alien. Yeah. He was a guy dressed up in the suit. Bring out the proper one out.
Shaking his booty.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's we need to find out what's going on.
In terms of space defense, NASA and SpaceX have just launched their DART, which is the first test mission to defend planet Earth.
Yeah,
this is against rogue meteorites, asteroids, and bits and pieces that'll be jettisoned, which is quite a lot more at the the because obviously fucking Russia keep blowing up, Israel, they keep blowing up satellites in orbit. Yeah. So in terms of space debris, we've got to look out for. We've got to kind of fucking we need DART at the moment.
We need it clean before we need to send anyone else up there. To be honest, because it's getting that dangerous.
DART stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. Yeah, and it's the world's first full-scale mission to test technology to defend Earth against potential asteroids, comets, and other hazards. Launched on Wednesday. It's a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that sent it up. SpaceX launched a Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
You know, it's about time because they didn't really take it serious until I think it was 1996 when a meteorite come in, and they had I think it was 96 hours to work out where it was going and if it was actually going to hit Earth, and it did it in the desert. And from there on, they started to get a little bit more serious about it. But it took a long time.
It's Armageddon, essentially, isn't it? It's the film Armageddon where they think, right, well, we need to kind of work out how to defend Earth if this ever did happen. And
it's happening right now,
well, it is happening. I mean, they're testing this for a reason. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they need to know whether they can do it.
Yeah.
Now, chances are, there could be a fucking meteorite hurtling towards us right now. I mean, there's a race to get off the planet by a certain date. By all these space agencies.
I know about
3. So, supposedly. Potentially it could be on its way, and this could be part of a reflection, just in case, or seeing what their options are.
First resort,
exactly,
hit it out of the way, and then second resort, let's just leave the planet.
And I'm quite interested to see how this operates and whether the results work or not, because what it does is it basically launches a small device or nuke that just redirects it slightly, which, if done far enough away,
it can redirect
just that little direction and flight path can literally send it miles off course from Earth, which is what we want. You know, rather than blow it up or kind of destroy it,
worse.
Which can create more debris. Just nudging it, which is
nudge
cool.
It out of the way,
I like that.
Yeah. But that's been in the works for, like I said, for years and years. I mean, their first one was, let's throw a nuke at it and blow it up. But then, like you said, like it comes into smaller bits and it will hit a wider and bigger area, so it's more of a disaster. I'm glad the testing is actually started already now. It is good. It's a good move, and it's about time they moved. Well, talking about out in space, have you heard about the Mars Rover and the little chopper they got Insight?
They've got
the Insight lander.
A little chopper. Yeah, I know all about the little chopper.
Well, they've just for the first time, scientists have had a little peek underneath the red planet. So,
how do you mean underneath?
They actually scanned the ground
using like sort of LiDAR or radar or something.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And they've gone 200 meters. That's about 650 feet, and it's the first test, and it works out. It's looking good.
So what have they found? Anything? Or
well, the results will come in later on, I should imagine, in the next couple of months.
Well, I suppose 200 feet, they'd be able to see if there's any sort of like underground hollowed structures or kind of any cabins, or do you know? Because that happens in formation in the Earth, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did find some.
I think they're looking for water or some kind of ice.
Yeah,
or,
cool.
Like
I mean, either way, any sort of discovery of that nature would be quite exciting. Suppose.
Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah, excellent. Anything else on NASA before Ryan? Well, I've just got this last story. Could you mix a mean martini?
Yeah, I think I can.
Well, Elon Musk, or Techno King, he's looking for a new barman.
Oh, right, yeah, I'll be his barman.
Yeah, so if you're interested in a job and you're in Texas, Elon Musk, SpaceX is hiring a bartender for Spaceport.
Oh, yeah, you won't get down there if you... I bet it's good wages.
If you're a barman, or you're like, you're a Tom Cruise cocktail type of guy who can do all them spins and tricks and shit like that, yeah?
Yeah, there's a job there for you.
Now, I'm not being funny, right? But you're at Spaceport, right? Yeah. Working as a barman.
That's right.
You're going to get those astronauts coming in, telling you stories. Yeah. You've got aliens coming in.
Yeah, telling you stories.
Yeah, and you as a barman, you've just got to stand there, like wiping the side down, pouring them a drink, going, "Tell us your problems, alien."
Yeah. Then come to the newspapers or.
It's barman staff, barman Patreon confidentiality, isn't it? Yeah. So you listen to the problems, you don't go blabbing, but
not unless you need to.
That's a good job. If you're interested and you live in Texas and you are a barman, you should go for that job. I recommend you. Tell them Gaz sent you from the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Yeah.
And they'll go, who?
Yeah. and then go, Taylor sent me. Oh, I know Taylor. Yeah, he stopped the...
tell them They should subscribe because, we're great like that.
We are.
And that's where you heard about the job.
That's where they get all their information.
Alternatively, do you know when it says on the application, do you know, where did you find this job? And it'll say, like, the job sites or LinkedIn or whatever. You just put, no, the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Yeah. And we're gladly stamped that one.
Well, that's the news for this week. That's the show for this week.
It is indeed.
It's been a fucking roller coaster. I've enjoyed this week. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has.
Boop-a-doo. Every week is fun. We love. Yeah. So anyway, without getting too excited, that is the end of the show.
It is.
If you do want to get in touch and you want to just have a chat, or you've got a topic idea, a question, a comment, suggestion, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Yes, you can.
We're on Twitter.
We are.
Tweety. NASA_never over at Twitter. And Never Straight Answer on Instagram, where we post loads of different photos and bits and pieces. We're available on YouTube.
Yes.
So, if you listen to podcasts on YouTube, we're on there.
We are.
And occasionally put some videos out. So you can have a look through our library and see if you can spot us. What else? We've got a Patreon.
We have got
And
Patreon.
you can join up. We've got several tiers from, what is it? Agent, Special Agent, and Beyond Top Secret.
That's the one.
And also many ways you can contribute to the show by going to the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk.
Buy us a coffee.
Indeed, you can buy us a coffee or buy yourself some merch.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you very
merch
much.
there.
Yeah, indeed. So, that's it. That's the show. We're available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe. Tell your friend, tell your auntie, tell your mum, tell your postman,
tell your
and
neighbour.
your doctor. Tell your chiropodist.
Yeah. Or your fireman, local policeman, local MP.
Butcher, baker.
Yeah.
Dildo maker.
Candle maker, yeah.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you did.
We'll catch you next week.
We will.
We'll be back for another exciting episode. And so make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you next time for just that. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
This has been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Out.